There's been some wild drama in the Star Wars fan community online over the past couple of days. What exactly happened between Jason Ward and Collin Trevorrow, and why are so many fans now saying that the leaks are fake and totally debunked? Well, we're going to break it all down right now. It's like the news, but for nerds. Today's shout out just goes to everybody that was showing the channel love while I was on vacation. Our views went down because I wasn't able to put stuff up every day, and I wasn't able to talk about the biggest, craziest things that were happening. So if you could do me a favor and really focus on hitting the like button for today's video and the next couple of videos, it would really help us get back on track. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get into this craziness, guys. This all happened while I was on vacation. I saw it all blowing up. People were hitting me up. People were asking questions. And look, I just wanted to wait until I got back into town to figure out what was going on and report on it, okay? Full disclosure, I did speak to Jason Ward about this issue yesterday. We had a nice lengthy conversation about it. I know the ins and the outs. And of course, Jason is a friend of the channel. He's been on here before. We talk a lot. It's like, look, take that with a grain of salt, I guess. You know, if you really want to hate on Jason, you could look at this video and be like, oh, that's just his friend defending him or whatever. But facts is facts. And I'm going to make a pretty compelling case here to explain what happened and explain why most everyone's getting this whole thing wrong. So let me fill you in on the TLDR just in case you've been living under a rock. You have no idea what I'm talking about. So Jason Ward put out an article talking about Rey's backstory in the Collin Trevorrow episode 9. This is because, of course, Collin Trevorrow was going to do episode 9. He was going to do a screenplay with Derek Connolly, and then obviously, there was creative differences, and it's hard to say exactly, like, did he get fired? Did he quit? Maybe a little bit of both. Bottom line, he had a vision for the film that didn't match up with what Kathy wanted for the film, and they separated. And so Jason got a scoop from a source talking about what the story was going to be like in Collin Trevorrow's episode 9. And so he did the video, did the article, published a tweet about this, and then Trevorrow himself came out and replied to the tweet saying this: "Yikes. That's rough. Normally, I'd say nothing, but not a single thing in here was ever in any screenplay Derek and I wrote. Not one thing. All the best to you guys." And yeah, that's not a good look. That doesn't look good, right? That's Trevorrow coming in hot, basically saying, hey, man, I don't really want to be a dick here, but you're wrong and you're horrible. Hope you have a nice day. At least that's what it appeared like on the surface, right? Many people were like, whoa, Collin Trevorrow takes shots at Jason, and the internet lost their freaking mind. Now, I want to stop here for a second and put some context into all of this. I think it's very important to note how many people out there are vehemently hating the ending for The Rise of Skywalker, according to the leaks. There's so many people out there that hate the leaks. They want to discredit the leaks. And even before this happened, Jason was getting constantly attacked on all kinds of different platforms because he was reporting what was in the leaks. And people were upset because they don't like the contents of the leaks. And it's not unique to Jason. Jedi Paxis was taking shots, Fantha Tracks, Bespin Bulletin, even me to a smaller degree was getting heat for reporting what's in the leaks because people hate the freaking leaks. Keep that in mind as I explain what happened from here with Collin Trevorrow and Jason. And so at first, Jason just updated his article. He replied to Collin on Twitter and then updated the article saying that Collin Trevorrow has denied the contents of this article. But later he went in and made a lot more updates on this when he figured out what was actually going on. And so you can go to makingstarwars.net and check out the actual article now, but I will explain to you here what happened. What Jason was reporting was about the script that would have been the film that Collin Trevorrow would have directed had he stayed at Lucasfilm for episode 9. What Collin Trevorrow said was, nothing in here was ever in a script that I wrote or Derek Connolly wrote. And what I'm here to tell you is that they are both correct. And it all has to do with Jack Thorne. Jack Thorne, who is a famous playwright, he comes in and doctors scripts all the time. He was brought on for episode 9, and the script that he was writing was the one that Lucasfilm had hired Jack Thorne to create to basically make Collin Trevorrow shoot that movie. And Jason admits in his update that he actually had forgotten that Jack Thorne was brought on and that his source wasn't really clear about how this was going to be for the Jack Thorne script. They were using phrases like for Trevorrow's 9 or for the Trevorrow film and things like that, which is technically true, but you're missing a big piece. This was for a script that Collin had nothing to do with, which was essentially going to be the script he was more or less forced to shoot if he had stayed and made episode 9. And Jason forgot about Jack Thorne, and maybe many of you forgot about Jack Thorne. Thorne, but I didn't forget about Jack Thorne, and let me explain why. I am actually not the biggest fan of Collin Trevorrow, so I actually didn't like his Jurassic movie. I haven't even seen Book of Henry, but I hear it's horrible. And look, nothing against Collin. If you're watching this video or whatever, you're probably a pretty chill dude, but I'm just not a fan of your work. And so when it came to Star Wars Episode 9, I was actually kind of upset that they were giving you, Collin Trevorrow, Episode 9 in script and in directing. It just didn't make sense to me. The trilogy and the ending of the trilogy is super important, and I just didn't trust Collin Trevorrow to handle that, to do a great job. And it looks like neither did Kathy Kennedy or Disney, because they brought in Jack Thorne essentially to create a script that was more in line with their vision that they were going to make Collin Trevorrow shoot. And I remember too that way back then, I actually wanted Rian Johnson to do not only Episode 8, but Episode 9. This was before The Last Jedi came out, and I was riding super high on a Rian Johnson wave, and I was like, why wouldn't they just get this dude to do it? Like, no, Trevorrow, no. So yeah, I clearly remember when Jack Thorne was brought on, and as soon as I heard Jason say this, it all made sense to me. Now, what I am hearing from Jason and from some other people is that what was going on was Collin Trevorrow's script was way out there, way out in left field, not something that Disney and Lucasfilm wanted to be the end of this trilogy, and Collin obviously really wanted that to be the end, and so Disney brings in Jack Thorne. And what's crazy here is, I think this is where the creative rift really took place, because of course it's creative differences. That's why Trevorrow's not doing this movie. He gone, right? And so the root of that creative difference would seem to be planted when Jack Thorne was brought on by Kathy and Disney. And this isn't a crazy idea. This is exactly what happened with Tony Gilroy and Gareth Edwards with Rogue One. The proof is in the pudding. There are patterns out there of this kind of behavior when it comes to Kathy. She will bring these people in. She's just one of those types of people that her vision and the vision that she has for these films is paramount. That's what's going to happen, and that's why she's had so much trouble keeping directors and keeping talent at Lucasfilm to make these movies. And so it's not surprising at all that basically Jason was talking about a movie that would have been Trevorrow's Episode 9 had he played ball, but he didn't play ball, and it was Jack Thorne's script. It had nothing to do with anything that Connolly or Trevorrow were writing. And so that's the facts. Those are the sequence of events. And honestly, if you even look at the way Trevorrow worded his response, it's really interesting. He says, yikes, that's rough. Normally I'd say nothing, but not a single thing in here was ever in any screenplay Derek and I wrote. Not one thing. He's not denying that this was a thing. He's just denying that this writing and this story that Jason was talking about was created by him or Derek. And so that's the facts, but always you should make up your own mind about this. Please let me know what you think about the facts and what you think happened in the comment section below. Now I want to speculate a little bit here, because honestly, it kind of bugs me that Collin would even reply to this. He says here, yikes, that's rough. Normally I'd say nothing. I find it really interesting that you did say this, and I can only think of a couple of reasons why. Number one, I think that Collin could be literally so burnt by Disney and Lucasfilm and what they had attempted to do with Jack Thorne's script and his directing, that he wants to come out and disassociate what he thinks is bad storytelling, which is the stuff that, you know, Jason had reported about, and his name and brand. He doesn't want those things to be associated. Otherwise, why would he even reply to this? I don't think that Trevorrow knows who Jason is. I don't think Trevorrow knows about the leaks. I don't think he's on Reddit. He doesn't know who Jedi Paxis is. I could be wrong here, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that Trevorrow does not hang out in the same circles as all of us internet nerds do. That is not something that's top on his priority list. But if somebody had shown him this and said, hey man, here's all this stuff that this guy is saying was going to be your script for Star Wars Episode 9, that could compel him enough to reply to someone he doesn't know at all and denounce that association. And for me, that's really the only reason I can think that he would deny it, and deny it in the way that he did. It's very like lawyery. And again, I want to just say there are a lot of people online that vehemently hate the leaks. They hate the contents of the leaks, and they've been looking for any chance to undercut the credibility of the people that have been reporting these leaks. But what's crazy to me is, even in the worst case scenario here, even if Jason got a total bullcrap story from a horrible source and there was no validity to it whatsoever, Collin rightfully called him out, and, you know, Jason just messed up with that one. even in that scenario, it doesn't discount all of the other scoops that Jason has got right. It doesn't discount all of the evidence from every single trailer that comes out that literally supports the leaks 1000%. To me, it is simply crazy. It's simply crazy that people cannot see that these leaks are real. But their desire for them not to be real has led some people to literally attack these different people, Jason, Paxis, even myself, and that is what happened. Now look, here's the thing. It's the internet, right? And the first story is usually the only story. Like what happened, and on the surface, this is a bad look. It's not like Jason is happy that this happened. He's pissed off at his source. He's pissed off that he had to correct it. It's a bad look. He did make a mistake. But it is not what people are making it out to be online. People are holding this up and saying we should question the leaks. This stuff is all wrong. Jason Ward's credibility is completely obliterated, so we can't believe anything he ever says. It's like, look, I get it. It's the internet. But I'm trying to do my part here and explain to you that that is not what happened. And if you're one of those people, you're a crazy person. You are a crazy person. Now, I did get Jason to agree to shave his head along with me if the leaks do end up to be completely false. As I told you guys before, if JJ's pulling some weird misdirection thing and it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in modern cinema and there's nothing in the leaks that's in the film, it's a totally different story, I will shave my head. And Jason will shave his head as well. So we're about 10 days away. If the leaks are totally fake, Jason's going to come on the show. We're both going to shave our heads and we'll be bald-headed motherfuckers. But we're not going to do that because they're not fake. In fact, I do want to talk a little bit about the actual spoilers. So if you're staying spoiler-free, now's the time to get out of here. Ta-ta for now. Come back later. Daisy Ridley just said something really interesting at the Comic-Con in Brazil. This is what she said, and it is translated from someone who's Brazilian on Twitter. So it's probably not word for word what she said, but it's the context. Let me explain. She said she expects that the legacy Rey leaves after the Rise of Skywalker is that anyone can choose his own families. I mean, how much more obvious is it that the leaks are real? How much more obvious is it that she's going to take the name Skywalker at the end of this movie? I mean, and here's the deal. I have so much to say about this, and I have so much that I want to talk about. But at this point, I really feel like we need to wait, see what's in the movie, let it hit us, and then make our judgments. But as I've said before, I do not like this ending, and I don't think many Star Wars fans will like this ending. There's things that I like about it, but ultimately, to call it the end of the Skywalker saga, for it to be called The Rise of Skywalker, and for Rey to just take the name Skywalker and that to somehow wrap everything up and be the meaning of the title, I don't like it. And there's plenty of people that don't like it. And I honestly believe that if the end of this film plays out the way that it does in the leaks, word for word or verbatim, this movie is going to get roasted, possibly even worse than The Last Jedi. And that's going to suck, but I do think that that will actually happen. And we'll have a lot of discussions after that, and we'll try to take a temperature of it. But I'm just telling you right now, that's where I'm at with it. That's what I think is going to happen, and we're going to be talking about it very, very soon. We're 10 days away, guys, so please let me know your thoughts about what Daisy said, about the ending. Try to keep spoiler-free down there in the comment section. I don't think you're going to be able to, so whatever, but try to do that. And let me know what you think about this situation with Jason and Collin Trevorrow. What do you think's going on there? I mean, either way, we're all going to know really soon. So just let me know your thoughts in general in the comment section below. And now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know what was the name of the young bounty hunter that teamed up with Mando in The Mandalorian Episode 5. Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.